Get off the beach! Get off the beach! Hans, get off the beach!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 687th episode of the Geek First Podcast. I am the Clown Prince Podcast Trust now, and I'm joined by...
I am your friendly neighborhood caster, Kirkland Patzer.
I am the G to the PT, Taylor Field.
G to the PT. I don't understand. I'm
You
a little
don't?
tired.
Did I get the letters wrong in the wrong order? No, I got it right.
I think it's TGP.
TGP? No, it's GPT.
I
not
know it
TGP.
is.
Oh,
I-
fucking with
I
me.
can't believe you believed me there for a second. That dad brain is just getting.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Shut the fuck up!
Anyways, very important episode here tonight, today, whenever you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening to this next year. Who knows? Maybe you're a time traveler and you listen to it in the past and you're going forward and tell us, don't do this. You're going to get canceled. But, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, what's going to happen on this cast? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Town Hall. We were talking about making it like a newscast Town Hall, but we're not going to because there wasn't too much like big news to talk about. And sometimes the Town Hall, like there can be some talking points. So, and I know we'll probably go roughly an hour, maybe a little longer and whatnot. But what we do every year is we put in a survey and then we kind of meet up. And it's a good kind of like overall the year because we just reaffirm what's going to happen in the year, some content, what we're doing on Patreon this year. And just for any new listeners, because there's definitely some questions that we've gone in there that we've definitely talked about in the past that I feel like the core people that have been here since 2016 and on, or even the past couple of years, like post-COVID, I feel like once you've been here for about 2 years, you kind of know the rundown, right? So there's a couple questions like, okay, we'll reaffirm that because maybe we don't say that enough in a cast and everything. So what we did is a couple weeks ago was 17 days exactly. We put out the survey and people answered and they're all anonymous. So we like that because everybody can be honest if they have any critiques and we like to get those. Obviously, there was a lot of critiques on Dylan, so that's the first announcement of the Town Hall that he is no longer with Geek First. We collectively met together and used our 75% of the shares and said you gotta go. We just
Shares well spent, some would say.
yeah, you know, and he just he took it pretty easy. He just sent me this as a response. So it was mutual because he said he wanted to get away. So yeah, Dylan's no longer with us. We're gonna figure out what we're doing with SideQuest. So yeah, we'll get more
Give it
into
to
that.
S-Bubs, right? He doesn't know it yet, but he's actually gonna take it over.
Really, that's fascinating.
Free
What's
of
gonna happen?
charge.
What's gonna happen with my gimmick co-host? You know?
Taylor's taking.
Well, Dylan's
Taylor's
going over there
taking
actually.
Yeah, Dylan's gonna be on the gimmick, but yeah, we'll talk more about SideQuest later. But yeah, we got lots of survey results, and we're gonna talk about just Geek First in general and stuff. So I will say, and this is what before we get into everything else, we did get tons of I feel like every year we do get positive feedback, but I feel like this year people went out of their way to give us overtly almost too much positive feedback. I don't know if that's because it's our 10 year. I don't know if that's because maybe some of the newer people we got are nicer. I don't know. Maybe people are just liking the content we've done on Patreon and the feed. So very appreciative. There might be some comments, critiques, or questions that have that stuff in there. So that's the point. But I'm not going to read all the positive stuff because, as I said, Trustly, I don't want this to be a glaze fest. I'm just saying we're all very appreciative. It's the best when I heard this a lot last year, so hopefully people are okay. Always talk to your friends, family, get help, but I feel like we got a lot of, hey, life's tough, or I don't have that many friends talked about this stuff, or my job just sucks and you guys help me get through it. That for me is the best compliment because I think we've all been there at times where whether your job just sucks or you got that long ass, especially me, long ass bus ride from maybe at home to a job you hate. So that's anytime I had that as a podcast that you just escape even for an hour, and all of us are really appreciative that we can do that for you. So thank you everybody for the very kind words. You guys were way too nice. And oh geez, I thought we took out his when we bought his shares. I thought we took out his StreamYard login. Oh, so Dylan, we forgot to tell you. We
was
just
such a clever zinger. Nice one, dude.
we just told her about the shares, so you got to give us your StreamYard logins. But Taylor has proposed a trade that SPub's going to host SideQuest now, and you're going to be coming on the Gimmick with me and David every 2 weeks.
Well, I might go to that wrestling show with you, so I
You
do want to
did?
at least come on one episode of the Gimmick, so you can tell me the storylines that I need to know before we
Okay.
go to that show.
And you did as one of the topics.
But I don't want to give up SideQuest to SPub. Sorry, bud.
So, but no, we were here. So no, we were just saying that I feel like this year people in their comments about being nice were almost overly nice this year. Like I feel like lots of times be like,
Suspiciously nice, for sure.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like what happened? Like do they know something we don't know? Like that time travel? Like usually like, good job, keep up the work. Sometimes there's people writing like 2 paragraphs about how much they enjoy the podcast. So we very much appreciate that. So yeah, before we get into the nitty gritty of it, I just want to go around and Kirk, I'm going to start you. What have you felt about the last year of podcasting? Obviously, 2025 was a really good year for us. We had our 10 year. We ended up raising 20,000 overall for Extra Life. SideQuest had its biggest solo feed. Review Feed had its biggest solo feed. GV had its 3rd biggest year, which is pretty good because the past few years have been like more like up and down and whatnot. So it's getting back into those big history making months. So obviously lots of success there. But how are you feeling right now as Kirkland Patzer?
As of right now, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm
Right.
nearing the end of my school course, but podcast-wise, and just looking back in the year, and I should say it's all good. Everything's good. Just it's a good level of stress of just stuff's ramping up. It's not like anything negative, but
First world
yeah.
stress like that. type of stuff.
yeah, exactly,
Yes, yeah.
exactly. But looking back on the year, especially as I mean, even personal, last year was kind of a big year for me. I went on a big adventure, left the continent, so that was nice personal stuff. But then, yeah, getting to the podcast, I feel like there was. It always happens when we do these, like looking back on the previous years. It's just like a time warp happened. Like it just kind of blended together in weird ways where I feel like portions of the year felt like it went by really fast and then it slowed down and then went by really fast again. So it was just like a stutter step. I don't know if that's like the content that we were covering, whether it was like getting excited for big MCU project, but like that's at the start of the year and then like waiting for something else that kind of like stretches
Brave
out
New
there.
World, that big exciting MCU project you got excited
Getting up
for?
to it was
I
exciting,
see, I see.
big project. Afterwards it kind of dwindled, but yeah, and like correct me if I'm wrong, but like Taylor and I did our Daredevil retro finally was that last year or is that 2 years now? I
was
feel like it's
last
just
year.
it
Boy,
feels
yeah.
so
Last year.
long ago when we did that, and
Yeah.
you know, of course there's a nice exciting one brewing now for the Punisher
Yeah, you
show,
guys are
but-
recording next Sunday, it says on the calendar, eh?
I didn't put that in there. Did you put that in there?
Yeah,
Kirk?
no, that was Travis. He's trying to choose when
We'll have
and
to change
where
it.
we
We'll
record.
push that to 2027.
Just a reminder, these guys tried to. Oh wait a second though. Did you guys push your two's bread and butter as well? Oh my god! So telling an inside note. There was one time they were hosting Weekly Geek, and I said like, okay, you guys gonna have the night off because there's really nothing, or you guys could record your bread and butter in the future because we'll talk about that. But we're doing this year for the producers. There's 12 bread and butters. There's 6 that are everybody together, the 4-man, or like at least the 3 if we can get to do like everybody to line up. We try to, and then there's going to be duos. So like a cast with me and Dylan, a cast with Kirkland and Taylor, a cast with me and Kirkland, etc. So I said you guys could do this, or you could do bread and butter. And Kirkland was busy, so he's like, oh, let's just not do that. And I'm like, okay, I'll just move it because I know you guys are going to forget. And like, no, like you don't even have to remind us. We're gonna record it even before you say it. So they hit the point where it was scheduled, so they were wrong already, and now they're already pushing it back. It's fine. It has to be done by January, but like they were big leaguing me, be like, oh, we're gonna record it. Like one day you're just gonna see in the feeds, be like, wow, I'm really impressed. That did not happen. So nice try. As I look at the schedule now, and you guys pushed it. So
Are you guys still workshopping the topic for the episode?
Oh no, we got topics.
I put a few more in there. Oh yeah.
I think we're just gonna
afraid.
choose
Do a
amongst
wheel.
as we get going. But do we feel maybe splice them together? Who knows? But where was I going with that? Getting back to just looking on the podcast, and I feel like a big thing. I mean, you said at the start was just like seeing maybe the downloads or like what people were getting interested in on like certain episodes. It definitely felt like the overall title shift was like in the upward direction this year. I feel like I don't like to just like pay attention to every episode like day of, like what's it doing. But it is nice to look back, I don't know, quarterly or just whatever, and just be like, wow, that's pretty crazy that for whatever reason, multiple factors, it is trending in the upwards direction, which is always nice to see, but also just surprising like what people are really I don't know, getting their fingers on like what was it? Alien reviews was a lot higher than
Two of
maybe
them
I
are top
expected.
10, yeah. And for a while,
Yeah.
like the 28 days or 28 years later was their number one, which is like I didn't have that pegged happening, you know. So, and that's where it shows
Yeah.
this year, like looking at the trajectory, this episode's like done well, but nowhere as much as the first one. That probably explains some of that box office too. But you just never know sometimes what people are listened to or what the algorithm pushes, of course, too. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I don't even know why I was going down that tangent, but looking forward to this year, I feel like I'm even more excited because of like knowing my own personal interest in the topics that are coming out, like just big movies or
Big
or
MCU
shows
projects.
or whatnot. Yeah, and it's just like exciting stuff across the board. Like not even like obviously it's so fun to be watching it and then reviewing it with you guys or talking about it on the podcast, doing whatever. But just like I feel like across the board, general audience hype is heightened for what's coming out this year. Movie, TV, video games, obviously the big one being GTA if it comes out this year. Hopefully it does because it's on my draft. But yeah, I'm very. I don't want to say like I'm more optimistic than I normally am because I feel like I'm always excited and positive going into the new year, especially for podcast focused. But yeah, I know I really am. I'm pumped for what's to come, and we're still here. Dylan made it. We didn't take all of his shares, so glad you joined. But
well, let's see how this
Thank
town
you
hall
for giving
goes.
them back. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta answer.
I don't know why I left them in Kelowna. It's just too easy for you guys to canoodle with my
Yeah.
shares.
oh yeah,
Speaking of Dylan, how are you? How you doing with the pod nowadays? A little check in.
Yeah, as I've mentioned multiple times, like 2025 was a very tumultuous year for me personally, and so I think in those kinds of times, what you need is structure and consistency and camaraderie, friendship, and that's what the podcast is for me. And so yeah, it was. I feel like I kept busy with the podcast this year, filled up the now empty nights, and so yeah, it was a fun year. I feel like I ran the gamut too. Did some TV shows, obviously focused on side quests. Did kind of less movie reviews, but still some of them here and there. Lots of different newscasts. We did a lot more Weekly Geek this year. All sorts of other fun stuff. So yeah, it kept me busy for the most part, which was good. And yeah, I mean, it was a fun year because we were celebrating the 10 year. So it felt like the 10 year was an event. That was a day. That was a thing we did. But also it was a month leading up to that. And then I feel like we had like a come down too that lasted for like a couple months of just like even until the end of the year, like, you know what, we're partying. It's the 10 year. We're celebrating it until the end of the year. And I like, you know, the exciting thing for the fans is that it's not us just going into this year, like we're just doing even more and keeping it exciting, keeping it fresh, doing new, different stuff. So, yeah, like, you know, always keep things fresh and whatnot. But yeah, it was a fun year of podcasting, and I'm excited for this one because, yeah, as like the gaming focused guy, as Kirkland alluded to, like this is going to be a crazy year for video games unless everything gets delayed. So yeah, it should be a really fun time. So yeah, I'm doing good. Podcast was a good year. 2025 was good.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Taylor Field. It's not a good look.
I think it was a good year. I had a good time with you guys. I had a lot of fun. You know, big change this year. And just just preparation, anticipation, salivating. So I think where we're at now is it's good, and we hit the double digits. That's huge. And the next goal that I'm looking forward to for the podcast is
triple digits.
No, the episode count hitting quad digits. That's the big,
We're at 687 now, so we probably got like another year or two. That's one. The one I don't know, and I haven't done the math because it always depends on the year. The other one I'm looking forward to is we're 200,000 downloads away from hitting 2 million plays of all time. So it's right now we're at 1.8. So same thing. I think that'll still be like maybe a couple years, but there's a couple big landmarks still on the horizon. You know,
This year, that's a good goal for us. Let's hit 2 million this year.
you think we can hit 200,000 downloads?
I mean, our Avengers Endgame episode was like what 80, 100K on its own.
74,000.
So if we can dump that on one, you know, Avengers Doomsday, throw in Spidey in there, throw in some Dune, throw in some Odyssey, I feel like we could get there. Throw in GTA 6. I mean, Come on.
I will always admit that some that's us, and then I definitely think some that is partially of an algorithm. Things have changed a lot.
It's never the algorithm.
Things
it's always the
things have
content
changed
creator.
with everything with Spotify and Apple and YouTube. But you never know.
Trust the
Could
process
happen.
for sure. I mean, I saw a post today that's like apparently more officially now more than half the identities on the internet are just bots. So we're officially crossed the 50% mark. So
Nice.
Wow.
you really just got to trust in the robots at this point, I guess.
Man, and then when AI gets hold of all those bots, they're going to outnumber us eventually. Like they're going to keep making. That's
Oh
probably
yeah, every
that's the
year it's
low-key
going to get
plan.
worse for the humans on
Yeah.
the internet. Yeah.
When we get that stat, like there's more bots than humans, that's when the AI is going to flip and it's over. All those bots become real, like the people.
Well, we just hit
now.
that point, so now now we're done for.
Oh, brother.
I feel good. I feel optimistic.
Yeah.
No, I feel like we've had a lot of growth this past year. Like you guys already highlighted, 10 years. 10 years is that's a big thing. And so coming how far we've come this past year and like the new kind of things that we're focusing on and always changing and trying to do better and whatnot and listening to the listeners and the patrons and just trying to grow certain things for our show. No, I think it's good, and you guys all pat yourselves on the back. We've rallied and come together, and we've
I
done
think we
some
should
good
pat
stuff.
each other on the back, and then I guess we can pat
You
ourselves
guys can
on the
pat
back.
me anytime, but I mean, I'm not there. You got to pat yourselves on the back right now.
Okay.
I'll wait for you.
You wait for me. Good. I think it's exciting to know that we are on the precipice of big things on this horizon.
We hope. You never predict the future, but
It's true.
yeah, no, it's a fine year. Anyway, so get into the survey. No, I really enjoyed last year. I want the energy of what we had for the 10-year and the lead up and whatnot. That can't always stay because you gotta, you can't have too much birthday. There always has to be like a little bit of a break and a lull. But yeah, I think honestly, I was talking about this on Travis told you. I think the next 2 years, even this year, but the next 2 years in general, for content and those potential landmarks we can hit, all the other stuff, and even then, a big thank you to the patrons. That was our also biggest year on Patreon as well, which definitely means the most because that is the biggest fund that goes directly to us. Because YouTube and Spreaker, we do make finances off of that, but there's a lot more of a percentage split there. So we very much appreciate that, and that's where we can rely on you guys. Because if people don't know, and what I'll do is a little rundown here because this is where I was saying before you got here, Dylan, that sometimes I can tell in the surveys we always get somebody that's recently listened or just the year. Because there was one thing in the survey like, oh, you guys should offer like an ad-free feed on your Patreon or something like that. It's like, well, good for you. We got you covered. It's there, and that's the thing where for Patreon, is the biggest support as far as how ad revenue works and CPMs and all this stuff. It's all dependent on not us. It's like obviously our numbers, yes, and how much people listen to a podcast, yes. Those are the two things we can't control, but we can try to strive to be better and change this and do that. But as far as an ad revenue, I've always said like you can have one episode in January be listened to 5,000 people, and that same episode released in August 5,000 people. You don't make the same amount. It all depends on what the revenue people are doing. So that's why with Patreon, when we really stress that's the place to support us. That is because it doesn't matter if like the months, the funds stay the same. And those things literally when people, just to like kind of break it down, when we say it supports the show, it really does because between revenue and Patreon, we wouldn't be doing like all the other episodes. Not even talking the exclusive stuff, but just stuff like Weekly Geek or just stuff like Travis told you, or even side quests. Like that was born from, hey, we're doing a lot better. We can do an extra just gaming show. Dylan, you can host that. Like those are the reason we can do multiple content things is because of those landmarks. That's what goes towards. Of course, like we do keep some on the back end, but that usually helps me to like take a day off or do something and still get paid. Honestly, I think probably majority of my stuff just goes back into the film, so I'm not pocketing that much nowadays. Like it's the film festivals, it's the gear and that type of stuff, but all that stuff does create more opportunities. So that's why if you like what we do, and we like I always hate trying to promote it, and like we appreciate if you just listen and you listen to the free feed and that's your plan forever. We appreciate you too, and we need those numbers too, because when other people, whether it's sponsorships or other revenues, look at the numbers, that's important too. It's just that's where if you ever want more stuff, and that's what the exclusive stuff's for, but if you ever want stuff where it's like, and I see when we get in this survey, it's like, oh, we'd love it if you could do this. There's some stuff I would love to do, like for example, I saw it a couple times in the survey, like live reactions, right? When we do the Game Awards or that nightmarish one we did for Nintendo a couple months ago. But it was fun because early, nothing happened, but it was fun because early. Those were some of my favorite. Like back in the day when we were in Dylan's parents' basement and we would just be there all day for E3. Nowadays, like Comic-Con, E3, those all day things don't really happen as much anymore. But still, like I would love to do those, but we don't always do those because one, it's tough with our schedules. So in the sense of getting more income, that would be like, okay, we could take a day off of work for, let's say, a big event to watch it, react to it, and still be covered. Where if we don't have that, then we're just taking a day off of work, watching this thing. And that's the thing with live reactions. It's not the same as a podcast because YouTube has the worst revenue split. And unless it's super chats and stuff, they don't make too much, right? They're tons of fun. And that's still the base of the podcast is trying to have fun. But that's why we always try to value, like, okay, what is worth the time when we do, like sometimes like there's 4 or 5 days a week we're doing this, right? It's not like back in the day where, okay, we did Geek First every Friday or Thursday after we were all done work. And then if there was an E3 or something, like, oh, sure, let's do that for fun. But now it's a lot different. So I don't know if I said anything that someone wants to touch upon, etc. But
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on that a little bit, which is maybe a disappointing thing, but like with my work schedule that changed in the last few months, like I just can't do as many of those live reaction things because they often happen like midday and stuff. And I, for a time there, had a work schedule where I could work around that and do more of that, but not really anymore, unfortunately. So I want to react to the State of Plays, to the Nintendo Directs. Well, I guess the Nintendo Directs happen at like 6 a.m., so maybe I could do some of those, but then I have to
always
wake up
tough.
at 5:30 and do that.
then you
So
also
yeah,
gotta plan to be
I'd
in
like
bed early.
I want to do that as much as I can, but it is tricky with work,
yeah,
the old
'Cause-
ball and chain, the job, you know.
Yeah, because all of us have a daytime job, or like Kirkland, he's in school right now. We all got other activities going on as far as just life, like that type of stuff. So that's where it's like, I'm not saying, oh, next year, if we hit this goal, we'll start doing live reactions. That's just stuff where, hey, in the ballpark of if we can get to certain landmarks or stuff in the future, yeah, that'd be great because maybe we could justify, okay, 2 of us could take this day off, etc. But yeah, just to specify before we get into the survey and everything, I have for the free feed as well. It's on there. I'm not going to go over the whole schedule on because we have a free Patreon feed, and that's where I place like updates or anything like that. The entire 2026 schedule's up there and the breakdown of the tiers. So if you ever want the written document, it is there. It's like only a couple weeks old, but if you just search like 2026, I think it's going to be one of the only things that comes up as of right now. But right now, the first feed is just like a support feed, and you get some behind the scenes stuff. Phase 2, the second feed, is early access to episodes. The same thing. I saw someone say, oh, I'd like episodes early. That's there. So it's early access. Every episode we do on the main feed is ad free. And then let me just pull this up here. For this year, you're getting 26 exclusive episodes on that feed, and the whole retrospectives are all there. Did you want to say something, Taylor?
No, I was just gasping at that's good
Just
stuff.
gasping. Okay. Phase 3 has all those benefits except a few more episodes and a bit of different episodes. That's 34 episodes exclusive. And then the Patreon producer, you're getting 46 episodes exclusive this year. Lots of those are split off the bread and butters. That's everything. Not like it's 24 and then all that plus together. That's everything together. But that's also the tier where we did a lot last year. We're going to do a lot more polls as far as doing content, and you guys decide what we're doing. So it is, I know lots of people have producer tiers, but then when I listen to podcasts, it doesn't, that's just like a fun name. We try to make it that you guys actually can dictate where we're going. Like last year, did I want to watch Minecraft again whatsoever? Not at all, but you guys deemed it. So we do what you want us to do. So that's our best way to try to pay it forward. And we have spruced up that tier bit this year because we know that's the top tier. And before it was, you get to pick one movie. That's still the case that you could review, but it was always like, okay, and now the rest is just some polls. But now we wanted to beat that up for you. So just want to specify, if you have any questions or stuff, it's all on there, or you can hit us up. Let's see. Was there anything to say before I throw out just specific things from the survey, or anywhere someone wanted to start specifically? I'm an open book.
Survey time, baby.
Okay, let me get that. Taylor, it sounded like you're breathing in the mic. You got
No. Just more gasps, you know.
Oh, this
So dramatic tonight, Taylor.
Speaking of the Patreon producers, I want to do this because we're doing this next month, and I feel like this is a fun place to talk about because maybe we can open up suggestions. How do you guys want to tackle next month the flashback episode? Because we talked about before, like, okay, we wanted to go back in the past because this was inspired when we did the MCU predictions for Phase 4. We, especially, I think at least me and Dylan, I don't know about the other two, I can't speak to them, but we like re-listen to the predictions, and there's so many takes and thoughts that was fun hearing us like, man, what did we think about 4 years ago? Like me saying like, oh, Blade has to be out in the next 2 years, and here we are, no Blade. It's like, how do we want to do that? Do we want like to give the patrons a topic, an era? Like how do we want to try it? Because we're doing 2 this year's experiment. Want to see how people enjoy it, if it's worth doing. So we're gonna dip our toes into that, but we haven't really talked about it yet. So does anyone have any ideas or starting points to do or things to throw out to patrons?
I mean, I thought we'd go back to the early era for sure.
Like year 1,
Like the
2.
Yeti mic.
Like I thought even like the first episode or something.
First
Well, I wasn't on
episode.
that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And
I wasn't a part of the podcast.
First episode with Kirkland. Then.
I think you might be on the second episode. I
think
think.
so.
I think so.
I was there.
When we had the
We had like one episode a week, so it was pretty easy to track.
it was one
It just
episode we
week two.
and for terrible SEO purposes, we never put anything we talked about in the title. It was like Tangent Town and Bread and Butter.
Yeah,
Like,
we had fun names for the first ones. Yeah.
yeah, it was great. But yeah, let me go back and get that date there. But that would be a good one to start off with the first episode with all of us on it.
Yeah. I mean, and you would
Yeah.
think that the clear audio quality difference will help the listeners know, what real time is versus what old time is. But we could also, like for example, I could re-listen to the episode and like edit out, like chop out like the interesting, funny things. Like maybe we just get a little super cut or something. I don't know if that's like easier for a listener to like, oh, we're gonna listen to like 5-minute segment of this. And then we talk
Oh,
about
I
it. I
see.
don't know if that's. I don't
But
know.
we still all have to listen to the full episode though, us, right? Like all of us got to listen to it from start to finish.
I don't know. You don't have in this world. We don't have to. I guess.
Dylan's worried about listening to the whole thing start to finish. Either way, if
I'm just
you
saying. I
wanted to
think for the
chop them-
viewer listening to that for a whole episode, hearing all of our voices twice, even if the mic's quality is different, it'll be. I don't think that would be a good listening experience. I guess
What do you mean by twice?
We'd be
because
talking over ourselves. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't think we were doing that. Like I'm down to hear that. I thought we were all listening it and then reporting back and talking about the stuff.
Oh,
I
I
didn't
thought
know
it was
we
a
were-
reaction to our earlier.
I thought
Oh,
a reaction
no.
might be more entertaining, though.
It could be, but then I'm with Dylan where that could be a disaster with the quality and whatnot if we do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
Huh.
and plus the only thing though, it's like because I feel like if we listen to it and it's not a good episode, it's not fun, that could be a waste of our time and everyone's time. Where at least if we listen to it on our own and come in, if it's a bit like shorter, we could maybe have some other things to talk about. Like what if there's not much we're talking about and just a lot of dead air for us and it's just the old episode playing? That was my my worry there.
Yeah, that could definitely happen.
Well, I think my suggestion's okay. What do you guys think of that? Of me, of I go through, I listen to the episode, I edit out good little funny chunks that we could re-listen to on a cast.
Yeah.
Funny
So you hear,
chunks
like-
and I'd say debates as well. Like anything that we might have some hot takes where now it's
Yeah,
like,
like
do you still
anything
feel that
that's
way?
anything that will generate good combo.
Mhm.
Could be.
I'm
I like that.
I'm down to do it that way. That you listen to. I probably still myself will listen to the full thing just to get the grasp of it. But yeah, the second episode ever is called Tangent Town. It's 100 or not 140 minutes. It's an hour and 40 minutes in the description. It's Zelda delayed, Fantastic Four predictions, no couch co-op in Halo 5, Space Jam 2, movie and game sequels we've wanted, and much more covered on Geek First. Not a
that
single
sounds
link.
good. That sounds
Nothing
like a
in there.
fucking good episode right
For
there.
second
I-
episode ever?
Yeah, let me confirm
Wow.
if
It's an
I hear
eclectic
Kirkland's
mix
voice.
of topics for sure.
Yeah, you guys continue. I'm gonna hear if I can hear Kirkland.
Even just spending like 5-10 minutes, like obviously picking an episode, covering it and whatnot, and our thoughts and comparing our thoughts from then to today. But even just going through and spending 10 minutes, like naming off the titles of like the first like 20 episodes, just like reading what like the discussion was back then. Like, oh, Doctor Doom trailer. Like, remember when we were all in like the car and we did a car pod and like talked about like, oh yeah, that Doctor Doom movie was discussed back then, and just like looking at where we are now in comparison, like, man, yeah, we're
Is that
still,
a real thing that happened?
Yeah, we were all in a
God,
car.
I don't
and
remember
we
that
did
at
a,
all.
We did a car.
I don't remember that
pod.
either.
Was it just you and me, Travis? We were in the car and we did a podcast in the car going to the theater, and we're talking about the Doctor Doom movie news that just dropped.
It might have been
So
just you
not
two.
listening to you right
That might have just been you two because you would often pick them up and drive them around, right?
Unbelievable. Travis, I'm
I
looking like a
literally
fucking
was doing
weirdo.
I literally told you I'm trying to listen to see if Kirkland's in the episode. I'm pretty sure he is. Something about a car. Yeah, but what does that help if it's just you and me in a car? We're trying to get an episode with all four people in it.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, like,
Moment's passed.
What does that do?
Done.
Like, sure, you and me could revisit that one time, but like,
That was
why
an
am I gonna
example.
make-
It was an example for like
What?
looking at old
Dylan Kirkland,
episodes
listen
and
to this
comparing
episode.
comparing the headlines to what we have now. So like weird predictions of news topics back then that on episodes we were all on, like, oh, Predator in the Tree sequel or whatever, just like, oh, no Predator in the Tree sequel. So
Yeah, I'm down to do that, but like, I think that'll come up in even the like that description I laid out there. Like, what were our thoughts on Space Jam 2 in 2016 or 15? Were we really hyped or whatnot? So I think you'll get that with almost any newscast episode with most of us. I think you'll get some sort of predictions or conversations about stuff that was still relevant nowadays, you know? Like Zelda, when was it delayed? I don't know. Fantastic Four, like what do we think about Fantastic Four predictions? Because that was for the
Fen Force.
Fan
That's
Four
fun.
stick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff, yeah.
So I think you'll get that with those. All right, so that's what we're doing. Dylan, you're going to take on that task of you're going to listen to that, cut out some stuff, and then we're
That
going to
sounds
go
fun.
over
Yeah,
it.
that sounds like a good proj for me.
Okay,
Nice.
there you go. So that's going to happen in February. So look
I
out for
guess
that.
are we
That's-
going to go with episode 2, or do you want? I think it sounds like a juicy one. It sounds like it's got
Yeah.
the gold in it.
I think so. Let's start
Probably
with
say like
Tangent
6
Town.
words in it. I feel like early podcast days, I was just a mouse. But we'll see.
You were pretty quiet,
I'll-
yeah.
I won't know until I listen to the episode.
Maybe Dylan, if he is really quiet throughout, trying to keep like a word count, you know, see how many words Kirkland says.
I'm not doing that.
So that got going on. Okay, so then I have this divided into 2 sections. So I have content improvement wants or ideas or questions, and then there was just general content questions. It was kind of like you'll see when I get there, but it's like, oh, could you add this or could you do that? Where the first one's a bit more specific or just thoughts or stuff that I want to say like, oh, this is why we do it, or someone will say this is why we do it. So someone asked this for also we do Weekly Geek, and then because this has come up, I think this comes up all the time, which I think we always appreciate, but it came up a few times of, you know, we always still like the episodes of all 4 together. And I'll read the comments where I liked it when you are all present for the news shows, but I understand that it may not be possible, and that's fine. Maybe you could add a quick commentary / reaction section to the news that each person missed from that person. In Weekly Geeks and only other official stuff, no need for the rumors, but for the shows overall, I'm very satisfied. Thank you. Oh, and they also wanted like a ranking show, which that did come, like top 10s and rankings came up a few times, so maybe some good evergreen stuff. But I to a peek behind the curtain, because I do most scheduling, I always try to like at least make sure on the calendar once a month there is like a for sure 4-man newscast, because I feel like that's usually most people's favorite is us 4 together when there's topics, because random stuff and going on, we get in debates. Where a review, I think we're pretty focused. For other stuff, I think we're like the Patreon stuff, we're pretty focused. So I try to put it on the main feed. It usually always happens on Patreon, but I'm not trying to be like, oh, if you want us 4 together, you got to go over there. No, it's just sometimes that's like those people are, you know, doing a little extra help for us, so we want to guarantee they get that. But what do you guys feel about that? Where whether it's in the future or not, like let's say Weekly Geek happens next week, and it's me and Kirkland, and the Spider-Man trailer comes out, and then Dylan and Taylor are on a newscast for a while. Would you guys be down for not just like the B tier and C tier, but some of the bigger stuff to how we kind of have a what we've been watching, maybe like a what we've missed or somewhere? It's like, hey, Dylan, we haven't heard your thoughts on etc. You know, like how do you guys feel about adding something like that for times we've been gone for a little bit or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that comes to mind is like on the Game of the Year episode, how I patch in like Travis or Taylor who aren't on that, and I think that I like that. I think it's fun to have that in the mix. So we could try something like that with like newscasts if there's like a juicy topic. I mean, that definitely came up a lot in the survey results. Is I want more of the 4 of you together,
Yes.
which totally fair. And I think it would be nice if we could bump that number up to more frequently. Like once a week would be cool, but you know, when we do so much every week, it's like it really is beneficial that we swap out on certain things. And yeah, I think we all have like our own individual flavors too, and we have our duos or trios and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think the GV4, I mean, that's where the sauce
Oh,
is
yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah, I would love it
That's
in
a
my
sound structure right there.
It is, yeah. In my dream world, it would be once a week. In my real dream world, but I'd love to get to like the 15, 20 years is like there's a newscast every day, but it's like Weekly Geek where it's like, hey, Kirkland and I are
Just live together.
Monday.
Everybody has
No,
bunk beds, all of
we
our
should have done that
spouses,
when we were on
kids.
Kelowna. We didn't think far ahead. We should have got one big house and done, but that would be my dream goal to like try to do it even just weekly, like the 4 of us. But like Dylan said, it's tough when it's like, okay, movie review, side quest, a TV review. There's some Patriot content, which again, a lot of Patriot content we are on together. But I think it's that differential of, okay, if someone doesn't want to listen to, you know, the Punisher retrospective movie with Dolph Lundgren, they're not getting the 4 of us, right? So if there's certain episodes we do that might not be in the wheelhouse that month, it might be away. So I think we are cognizant of it, but Kirkland, what do you feel about that? Maybe like a little section trying to catch up on some news in the future where maybe I can keep like a drive of on there as far as stuff that people may have missed. Like I could do like a Google Drive, I mean.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good idea. I mean, yeah, four of us together. That's when we're in our prime. But just life scheduling kind of prevents that from.
Yeah.
I feel like I would just get sick of you guys too if I did that every day. Who knows?
Wow.
Maybe not.
Maybe we're taking Kirkland shares at the end of this.
But no, I think that's really juicy because there is some times where just scheduling, maybe like one of us just isn't on there, and then like just maybe the initial feelings or reactions just aren't fresh there, and it's just not as good of a conversation. I don't know. I think it is good to get our thoughts as quick as possible. That's why we do our reviews night of when we can.
Yeah. And I don't think that this
yeah.
would have to be like the main, like it'd be kind of like what we've been watching where it's like a quick, you know, 10, 15, which like I know can go on, but it's not going to be like this where, let's say we talk about the Spider-Man trailer, then the next week we're doing the Spider-Man trailer again. Like not like that.
The
sort
month of
way.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, every month it's like, what did Dylan think? What did Taylor think? Let's go back to what Kirkland thought 2 weeks later, you know? So. Taylor,
Yeah, I still think
that's
that's the same.
yeah. Taylor, got any input?
I mean, yeah, you can't argue with the fact that the four of us, I mean, we got great chemistry. You guys are my work husbands. I joke about that with Madison all the time. Because Madison, like,
Polygamy.
we're driving today, for example, and I'm driving, and we're in a rush for to go somewhere, and I quickly like flash my watch up, and Madison's like, "No, we're not. We have time. We have time." I'm like, no, because my watch vibrates, so I get messages, and it was Travis sending me messages. I'm like, "It's my work husband," and yeah. So that being said. That being said, chemistry,
awesome.
the chemistry's there. We all got it. It's juicing. But I like the idea of being able to catch up with news that is missed, because more often than not, I find that if there's something that I want to talk about, it'll be covered by you guys on Weekly Geek or something like that. And it's like, hey, that's perfect. The coverage is there, and the coverage is the most important thing. But it's like, well, we don't necessarily double back and talk about it on a newscast, because the newscast could be like 2 weeks later, right? Just because of scheduling and everything. It's like, oh, dang, then I've missed my opportunity to kind of talk about it, which is nice. That's where the Discord comes in handy, because then you can kind of discuss it whenever and anytime you want. But on a platform like this for podcasting, I know there's definitely quite a few topics that pass by that I'd love to kind of seep my teeth into and discuss with you guys. So I think this is a good it's a good play.
And especially too, like how I've felt lately with when we got Weekly Geek and other stuff, how I felt with the main GV4 episodes. We still want to do something, but it's even like what me and Dylan just did on SideQuest. He did a quiz, and then we talked about Resident Evil, and we did that for an hour 15, and like that's over an hour of us talking together. There's been many times where we've done what we've been watching, and because of the movies or the tangents we go on, we're not getting the news to like 45, 50. So that's the thing where it's like, even if it was hey, we got nothing, but we got what we've been watching, some news catch up, and even if we have like even just one main topic for news or anything like that, like I think it's good. Like there's times where now before I'm like, I need to make sure I have 4 topics for a GV4 episode. Nowadays I've been lessening on that, because there's times where we're bumping stuff, like we're getting to topic 2 and it's 2.5 hours, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that's probably what people enjoy, because we can cover I feel like Weekly Geek is the like dissect, like direct. Okay, 2 people there, talk about the news. Usually like an hour and a half. I won't say in and out, because hour and a half is not in and out, but it's where when all 4 is together, there's that chance of like. It's kind of rare for not hitting the 2 hours in those sections, right? It's like we don't even need like a big juicy trailer nowadays. I don't know if that's just because we're better podcasters or what. And again, we did add that last year, right? What we've been watching, so we didn't have that before, and that can cause like good conversations. So, someone put maybe shows or segments about evergreen topics could be cool. And I guess we could do that. I think the tough thing is we do, because I try to always have us do like a balance, but I feel like that is kind of what we are doing on Bread and Butter. And I think in the perfect world where it's like we're doing this as like a part-time job, even it's like, we're doing all newscasts and we could end the week with an evergreen show. But it's like, because we are in that situation, I think that's why we do that for Bread and Butter per se. So
There was a lot of people that said specifically the word evergreen.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, what does that mean exactly?
So evergreen is like you could listen to it 5 years from now. So if we were to talk about, like if I was just say, hey, Dylan, tell me your life story, at any point for the most time, they'd be like, oh, this is the first 30 years of Dylan's life. It's never going to change, right?
I was
so it's
just surprised to see that specific phrase used multiple times. But
Yeah.
It's also the
I guess that
cargo
means people want
container that got stuck in the Suez Canal, coincidentally.
That's what they want us to talk about, actually. I was wrong.
specifically.
There was a comment about like wanting more politics talk or something. So I don't know. We'll see.
I'll address that at the end. There's I don't exactly agree with
Tune
the
into
comment,
Bread and
but-
Butter with Kirkland and Taylor for that.
yeah. Want to hear about the Chinese government? That's the episode for you. But Yeah, any thoughts on that? Like I said,
That's
I
not
feel
a
like we.
topic. That's not a topic.
I feel like we do. I feel like that is kind of what bread and butter is, though, right? It's those topics
Yeah,
where it's
I mean, I think that's a good thing for sure. And I mean, I feel like even on side quest, especially last 2 years, like I've put a lot less news in that show, and I do try. I don't think I was specifically like I want to make this more evergreen. I wasn't thinking that exact phrasing. But I think that maybe is like a knock-on effect of that, but then also I saw someone say like I want more like gaming news, so like I know that's not exactly what people want, but I think I just when I'm doing side quests specifically, I want topics that people are going to be interested and like really passionate about, and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, here's this news story that like we're pretty much reciting the news to you, and it's not like, going to be like a big huge discussion. So I like the idea of more evergreen stuff, even if I didn't understand it at first.
Yeah, and maybe that's what we try to do for those, if we can do a four-way man thing and there is nothing to talk about that week. It's what we've been watching, little news catch-up and something, because and that's the other thing, because I had that for Travis Told You, and that's where I'm completely down, but at the same time, like, I am only one man, so it's always like, I think it's the thing of, I saw one where it's like more evergreen topics, and I saw one like more listener engagement. I feel like, other than Travis Told You, where I say, hey, that's an hour, unless you send a super chat, I can't really be talking with the chat unless you're a patron as well. But I feel like with newscasts and whatnot, and even Patreon, like, you can join the $1 tier and send a question that, like, I feel like we incorporate as much as you put in, we will take as long as it's like obviously reasonably like it's nothing crazy or very out there. It's like I feel like we take that in. So if you have those topics, send them in, because Mike did that once where he sent a question and I turned it into a whole show because like, oh, this would take longer for me than 15 minutes. So that's where I'm saying it now. If you feel like we aren't taking the stuff in, be in the chat when we're live or join Patreon, even at the $1 tier, and you can send questions in before we record, because I know people are different time zones. Our second biggest market is like the UK and stuff, so I know it doesn't always sync up, but Carcontaire, anything on evergreen stuff?
No, I love it. I feel like I mean, I always love doing podcast episodes with you guys. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love it, but there's something about like all day in school or all day at work, and then you come home and then it's like, okay, I gotta focus, I gotta draft tonight, like I gotta be on my A game, like it takes mental like it's not like I'm turning my brain off coming here and chat with you guys, like we are, I feel like, focused on our topics that we're covering. But then when we just have like a nice, I don't know, bread and butters is a good example, original stuff that's just like low key, I feel like evergreen topics, it's just a fun like chill out. I feel like that's kind of like we're covering news, but that like the base of the podcast is just like us talking, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we're talking about, just us talking together. And I feel like if it can be a nice evergreen topic, there's just something more relaxing about that. So as the one that's participating in those episodes, not just going to be listening to them afterwards, I love it. I love our evergreen topics, and great terminology. I'm glad we're using that word again. I'm gonna try and put that in my pocket for
we should put that in our
use.
episode title. This is an evergreen topic episode. Sounds like people are googling that word.
Yeah, it technically is till like 2027, because something massive could happen, right? Because Taylor's going to check his watch while he's driving, work husband, and then just go flying out that thing. Like, put the watch down while you're driving, Taylor, Taylor, any thoughts?
It's on there. Good. No, evergreen? Fuck yeah.
Sick.
This was one I was surprised. It came about 4 times. I'm going to say this is the hype of the last year, because I feel like, to me, I'll always say, and I know it's cheesy, but like GV Day, like the 10-year, that's my favorite day we've done that, because I feel like all the content, maybe other than the last half an hour of Geek Versus, all the content was S tier. That was like, we were getting tired and we were getting a little loopy and we were trying to get through it. But other than that, I feel like it went off with a great hitch. And even Extra Life, like we had very minor difficulties this year. There's always like setting up the trivia, but so I don't know if because those went off really well. And the first 10 minutes of Extra Life, that was Kyle's fault because he was supposed to be there. So blame Kyle. People said that they would like us to do more streams, whether they were charity streams or whether just full day streams. And even people said like, oh, it doesn't have to be 24 hours, but more of those because those were fun. So I was kind of surprised because I've not seen those before in other surveys where people are like, yeah, do another long day stream event. And I'm not like, I think this is where my pinpoint of it right now is like, I don't think it would be this year because the year is kind of mapped out. I would not be opposed to another kind of like GV day where it's like, okay, we're going to do this for 8 to 10 hours. Because that's the thing too, right? As we've said before, we'd still have to do content because we can't just do a stream. Like Extra Life is different because we can play games all day, but that's for charity, right? But there's really nothing other than the trivia battle. There's nothing that we can bank to monetize later on. So, and we're fine doing the free time because that's what Extra Life is for, right? We're trying to raise the funds. But for like, if you want us to do another GV day thing, I think it would have to be kind of similar where it'd have to be like a goal of, okay, whether it's donations to make us stay up later or to unlock content. So I'm not opposed to that. It's also just like the fitting in would be a tough thing because like November is Extra Life and then the summer we do GVDA, and I already can tell like the earliness of like right in the New Year. I feel like it's always busy for everybody, like right after Christmas and everything. So I don't know what it would be. So I'm not opposed. I think it's more something I would like to table maybe next year if we're talking and see, or maybe even like if we do an additional survey in the future, like, hey, would you actually put that to people? Like if we did a third streaming day, would you be there? Would you be interested? Or is 2 enough? Right. Cause I asked that with Travis Tully. I said, hey, is 2 enough or would you take a third? So maybe that's something to cook on, but how do you guys feel about it? Cause I was kind of surprised that there was more than one person asking for that. So,
I mean, yeah, those days are crazy and fun and all sorts of madness. I feel like I'm a big
I think it's
part
also
of
because we're all
madness
together
is
too,
incorporating
probably
those.
that. So,
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
like
Plus
in
when they're-
person.
especially the longer ones, just being around each other, bouncing off some goofiness. I feel like the goofiness just gets multiplied in those instances. I would love to be able to do those like every month, like
Whoa,
really, like,
hey,
obviously.
hey, Kirkland, calm down. We don't need.
I don't know why you're kicking me out on that. What I would love to
Because
do
next year I'm gonna get the survey result. You guys should do one of those every month, and then like everyone's like, yeah, do it. You know.
There's a big difference between what I'd love to do and what
Yes.
I'm able to do, and I think that's the biggest holdup there. Yeah, I definitely want to, but I think it would really have to like just take a step back, look at the year calendar, and
Yeah.
because like there's some months where I swear I'm podcasting like 28 days out of 30. I know that's not really the case, but it feels like that of
Well, it's
just
because you do the doubles, right? So it's like you're doing 2 on some
yeah,
day. I
true
feel like that's what
actually,
happens.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Like next week I
that makes
podcast
sense
10
why it feels that way.
times. I podcast 10 times next week, but there's only 7 days a week. How's that possible? I don't know, but it happens.
Yeah, and like significant other, like spend time with them also, as well as family stuff, as well as just sometimes just nice to have a day off. So I don't want to overbook myself. I feel like that's something I'm going into this year, just trying to handle that a little bit better on my own end. 'Cause sometimes I feel like Bilbo, spread a little bit too thin over too much bread. But yeah, I definitely love that idea. And also doesn't have to be a 24-hour stream. I think I'm turning 30 this year. It takes a toll on my body. I feel like I'm losing years, but it's worth it. It's good. It's for charity.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to change that for the Extra Life stream. But for just adding another streaming day with you guys, I'd be down to have it less than 24 hours. But I want to do it nonetheless.
Taylor.
And speech.
So there's lots of ways we could go about this doing different streams. I'm totally down. I love the idea of the long haul. I think it's fun. It's magical. It's got some fun memes that kind of come out of it, like the last charity stream with the where is it? Someone click it. Click it for me.
Yeah.
Click it, click it.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. But when it comes to doing,
I heard that for like 16 out of 24 hours, I swear. Because Kirkland would watch that, but you just would watch it again. And it's a short video too, so I would love to have seen the play count. We should have done that. Yeah, it was crazy.
so
But you're
good.
right. Something always comes from anytime we're together for a long extended time. So
yeah, but I think, and this would be such a crazy dynamic to plan. I don't know how you would go about doing it. It would take a lot of coordination or whatever.
Scary.
But there's something called crowd controlled or audience driven streams, and I think that would be so fucking funny to do something like that with all 4 of us. And it's where streams where donators control the environment. It's a specialized genre of interactive live streaming where viewer donations or channel points directly manipulate the physical or virtual space that the streamer is in. So the physical room control streamers use smart home technology connected to donation alerts, and the donations trigger events like strobe lights, spraying water, fog machines, smart bulb color changes, unlocking doors.
Put us through saw traps over here? Like, what's going on here?
Not like
You're gonna
that
spray
level.
us with water and strobe.
All right, we got a donation. Now you have to saw your own leg off.
Could you
It's
just
like a Black
imagine though,
Mirror
like,
episode.
we're doing
Fuck
a
each other.
24-hour stream, and just like the room that we're in is like alive, and like it could be like 3 a.m. and then all of a sudden the strobe lights start
So
flashing.
terrifying.
Where are you getting these funds from? Where are you getting this from? We
There's a way to budget it. I think there's a way that we could budget it. But I remember watching this video of this guy, and it was like 2 a.m. where he was trying to sleep, and people kept donating, and they kept fucking him over trying to sleep, and he was getting so upset, but he was doing it to make money. It was so funny. Oh my god.
Well, I'll have to see the business pitch on it, or do a whole workup. I would say that'd be like maybe a one-time thing, or one time every 5 years. I don't think that's I don't think it's a yearly thing.
Not yearly.
Like,
No.
There's something that, like maybe 15 years. Okay, maybe this crowd control room or something. But I'd have to see it, and I'd have to see your budgeted of it as well too. Or you can do a Kickstarter or GoFundMe. I guess if people heard that and they really want that, then I guess let us know. So.
Okay.
Dylan, what crazy
that-
thing are you gonna pitch us? Kirkland's pitching every month. Taylor's pitching. Oh, let's go in a room where we get fucking
I never pitched
punished.
Yeah, I'll keep mine. Well, Kirkland's is realistic-ish, I guess. Well, not really, but my realistic thing here is I would love, like, because at one point Taylor and Kirkland were doing, like, it was Sunday, right? You guys were doing a little Sunday stream moment. I think something like that would be great, not every week, but like maybe like once a month. Like that could be a once a month thing where yeah, we do a 3 or 4 hour long stream, playing a game, playing Outlast Trials, playing Helldivers, doing something like that together. It doesn't have to be a video game, could be some other thing like I don't know, Jackbox, something silly like that. That seems realistic and fun and something I'd be into. Obviously for me the big limitation is just being in Vancouver. Like if I come to Kelowna for these streams, and which, these days so much of my friends and family have moved away from Kelowna, so I have like less and less home-based situation going on there. But for me, it like costs a lot of money and time to come to Kelowna, so I don't do it very often. So I feel like for me, I'm kind of capped at how many like in-person big streams we could really do for me, like with how much money we make, I guess, because it's like if I drive, okay, maybe it costs me like $100 in gas, and that's like 8 to 10 hours of driving. But if I have to fly or take the bus or something, that's like well over $200.
You claim vacation pay,
just for
right, with the
travel, so-
podcast?
What's that,
Technically, you
Dylan?
can write that off. Yeah, you can write that off if you.
I still have to pay. You write it off. You save some taxes. You don't.
Yeah.
Like, that money doesn't just come out of the ground. And
Better than
That's
nothing, though, right? Like you still say like a little on taxes. Save those receipts, but but no, I think that you bring up a good point where that's for those in person thing where it's like, okay, if people were like, oh yeah, we'd like you to do that more. That's where it's like, okay, and that'd be far out. That's where it's like, okay, we'd have to hit certain things so Dylan's completely covered on his side, right? So that's where it's like when we talk about, because I feel like we always say like when we say, oh, you guys help support the channel and grow stuff. That's what we're talking about. It's situations like that where it's like for Dylan to come out for GV Day and Extra Life, that costs him a pretty penny at times, right? So those are the things we talk about as far as manpower or hours or anything like that. So, but I get what I'll take from that, at least so people put it on there, is that they enjoyed the streams that we did do this year. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing. So, and we're still doing those too. We still got Extra Life and that. So maybe we'll kind of revisit it next year and see. But yeah, if you got any ideas that aren't us getting tortured to death, we'd love to hear them. So let's see. Someone put in this one just on that thing, and I don't know. This would be someone said maybe a moderator for the 24-hour or longer charity stream. That's always the tough thing of like, well, one, you have to find something to do that. Two, you'd have to find someone to also pay to do that. So that's where it's like, don't get me wrong, I would love that. Those days where something's going wrong and all four of us are tired, we're trying to figure it out, I would love that someone walked in like, oh, I'm there. But at the same time, I guess it's like, I feel like if like what Dylan's talking about, if we did online streams, there's a narrator, it's like, or moderator, like, okay, I could kind of see that, but the in-person one, I feel like it's also weird. Like, I don't think I could designate someone to be like, you're not playing any games, you're just here to like make sure things go right? So like, as bad as it sounds, I'm pretty thankful for the people during Extra Life. They're like, hey, audio's off, or hey, this is that, because that's another thing. I don't think we have the manpower to like commission someone for a day to do that. And even one of our friends, I wouldn't pitch like, "Hey, Sarah, could you come over and just watch the stream for us for a day?" Right? You know?
Yeah, I think that's good criticism though. Like I think our audio quality is really bad on the streams, so we need to get that improved. So that's definitely taken, and I think we already talked about this one, so we already have some ideas of how we can improve it for the next one. So we'll try and make it better and better every time.
Taylor, you gonna get Madison to moderate the stream?
Oh man, no, I'm her tech guy. When she's got shit going downhill, she calls upon me, and I do it. And I feel like we all kind of, is this the right way to say it? It's all of our cross to bear, like every once in a while.
I think so, yeah.
Because I feel like when we first started doing the streams, I remember like Dylan, you led that charge, and you were getting the setup and whatnot with your desktop and stuff like that. And then I think it was then on me, and now I feel like it's on you, Travis, because
I know how to stream now. I never knew how to stream before, but now it's like, Travis, you know what to do. So that means what? So that means we'll have to do the math. At some point, it's Kirkland's turn just to be the tech guy. He has to moderate for 24 hours.
Nervous.
Yeah.
I've never been to a house of Kirkland's residence.
No.
Neither have I.
He probably just still isn't.
Never
have
was.
a
Have you seen
just for
Mission
the viewers
Impossible?
at
The
home.
walls are. It's a fake room I'm in right now.
I've been in all
a fun
these
behind the
houses.
scenes like trivia fact about Geekverse. I've never been to Kirkland's house.
I've been in Dylan's parents' house. I've been in Dylan's sister's house. Never Kirkland's house.
I think
What was
Taylor's
at my sister's
seen
house?
one of my old living.
I've only the
quarters at some
outside.
point.
Only the outside.
Oh,
You
see,
came
That was
to
a
meet
neighbor's
me.
house too. That wasn't even my actual
we don't
house.
even know if
met
he
me on the
lives there,
property.
Taylor. You give one that's like, see you, Taylor, then he walks off in the distance, and he doesn't even live there.
I just did the weapons run off into the distance.
Yeah. Some people have brought this up, but I kind of get this one because we offer hey, when you become a Patreon producer the first time, you can pick movie retrospective. But a few people picked as far as like, what if there was a review we could be on, or this specific quote I had. I think it all depends on the time you guys have it and how many patrons you get. Blah blah blah. But let us do like a 1 to 2 pick a film a year or a TV show. I don't think we'd be doing a TV show because that's kind of tough. But I saw it come up a few times. I wouldn't mind like. Because we kind of had this thing that we'll get into. I feel like we have like a regular after 9 where we talk. We have a gaming night, which we got to figure out. We haven't done a gaming night in a while, so that's definitely next on the docket. We have a watch along. I think like in those ones we talk, I wouldn't mind if like the last 15, 20 minutes, like whoever's there saying, hey, we tell everybody a month out, like after 9's going to be this date. And I think we curate what the movie is so it doesn't interfere with any of our content, but we like pick a director or a theme or an actor, something like that, and have them vote. Like whoever suggested, I liked that idea of kind of an after 9 movie club where it's not the whole 2 hours is a review of said movie, but like, half an hour discussion of or something like that. So how do you guys feel about that? People kind of brought that up as like maybe people talking about the movie with us, because we only get to do that with them with new movies, right? Like, hey, did you see this weekend? And then we talk about that, but never older movies and stuff. So
Yeah, I think that's a good way. That's like a symbiotic way to do that. I think. So I like that one. Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
okay. But this had come up a few times, but we're gonna tinker with it a bit. People, I appreciate those hardcore comic book versions, people that still put that in there. We did the Predator one, and it actually did better than I thought. So I know this year we're going to tinker with it with Supergirl and then Doomsday. I got to talk to Mr. Balg. I'm going to get him to recommend me like what would be the good, because Secret Wars is next year. So I think we're going to do that. So I think it's going to be like the flashback episode where I think we'll do like 2 or 3 this year and test out, because we did them in the past and they were good. It's just they can be time consuming. So I think if you like those, we will do some this year, but just make sure you download and listen to them. And I myself personally will be trying better to say, hey, this is what we're reading. Same thing as like a movie club, like, hey, we're going to do this in a month. And if people have thoughts or opinions and stuff, because I saw it too, people saying like, oh, indie games or like lesser known comics. That's where it's tough, because even comic versions, I never know what those downloads are going to be. So like indie comics, we can't even get there yet, but I saw it come up a couple times. And same thing in that kind of sphere. I'm mixing some stuff up because we're in some side quest stuff where it was more older game retrospectives, like you did with Arcane or some other series. There was another one. I lost a note there. Or titles you have all played at least once in your life. So there's a couple ideas there. I have other ones there, but Dylan, how do you feel about that? Because you guys you did that Arcane retro, lots of time, obviously, and it's always tough to find something that we all kind of agree on, but also that came up with some older game retrospectives or some series retrospectives.
Yeah, we have nothing like officially etched in stone this year, but we have a few game retros that we've been planning. And of course, for that, it's a big time commitment potentially for some of these games. But yeah, there's definitely some on the books. I don't know if we would do. Like, we definitely don't have an Arcane type one where it's like we're gonna play every game from this developer, even though Arcane, that was like, it was at 6 or 7 episodes, Kirkland, something like that, which is not insane. Plus a
Yeah.
ranking, plus Redfall review, all kind of tied in there together. But I mean, I love doing that. That is one of the my favorite things that we've ever done on the podcast was that retrospective. That was a really great time. So I definitely want to do more of that for sure. And I think that's a good point that last year. I feel like I really dropped the ball in the game retrospectives. Like, I usually try and time it, like even like Plague Tale, like we did a 1 episode retro there. When Ragnarok came out, we did a 1 episode retro there. But it's harder.
This
So
year's
I
pretty
think this year with
stacked,
how
too.
many big games are coming out, I feel like that we're primed for some of that stuff. So yeah, keep an eye out for sure.
Hell yeah.
Anything, Taylor?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then was there anything else still in the side quest realm that you saw that you want to talk about, or was there? I think I kind of threw a bunch of 3 things together there, but was there anything else that stuck out? Or
Yeah, I mean, a couple people mentioned really liking the ranking episodes, especially like the weirder ones we do. Which I love doing those. Those are always a fun time for me. I try and split those up kind of somewhat evenly in the year, but I also just slot them in when we don't have topics for a certain week, so it's not on a set schedule. But I definitely intend to do multiple of those every year, and I think we have been doing that. Like we did the zombie ranking, the snow level ranking. We did a couple other ones that I can't remember off the top. Best game names, right? We just did some silly ones like that. So yeah, definitely want to do a lot more of that. We will be doing Resident Evil rankings soon. It's kind of a different thing, but we're going to be doing that, so that'll be fun. But yeah, definitely I'll keep those coming along. Indie games, that specific one. I don't want to be rude, but I think that's on you guys. I feel like you guys need to play more indie games if you want me to talk more about indie games.
or even just listen to that episode. Bring the if Dylan does an episode, be like, oh, I'm curious about this game, or I've never heard of it. Still click it, download it, and be like, okay, then there's another thing too. I that's the other one I didn't mention here is who knows how it's going to happen, but they're like, oh, and interview more people in the gaming industry and stuff like that. That's where it's same thing. Make sure you subscribe and download. And same thing, I guess we don't push this enough. I'm trying not to be pushy because we push so much other stuff. But if you like one of our episodes, legitimately always hit a retweet or a share on Facebook or wherever you're listening to, because that does help. It's like the charity stream. I feel like that's the only time I talk about that. Spread the link, because people will be same thing as the Extra Life where, someone donated I've never heard of. There will be people. So if you like that, and it's same thing, the indie games or comic versions, when that stuff comes out, push it out, because maybe there's someone else on your feed that goes, I might like this episode and give it a chance, right? So that's the same thing. If that helps us too. If you can't become a patron, we completely understand how life is. That's a free way to help us, is whether you're liking a video or reposting it somewhere, because someone might see it that enjoys that stuff,
Yeah. What did you mention something there that I wanted to jump off of?
The industry people.
Yeah, I would like to do more of that for sure. I think that seeing that comment was a nice kind of bump to remind myself to do more of that. I tell myself I want to do more of that, interview people or get more just different voices on than you're used to and stuff. So that's definitely a goal for me this year is, reach out, get some more people, get some more interesting indie devs. I recently, a couple months ago, just went to a game developer event thing in Vancouver and was surprised that, man, all these cool game developers that some of them I've heard of that I just didn't realize were living in Vancouver. So there's quite the community here. It's obviously a huge city for game development. So even for me, that's maybe easier. I can actually do some in-person conversations with people would be cool. So definitely that's a goal for me this year.
And if there's anybody too, reasonably, right? You're not going to be hey, Dylan, get Todd Howard. We're not there yet. That'll be many moons from there. But if there is people that are on the indie side that you either listen to or know of, and especially if you hear people hey, I'm looking to spread my game, and if it's something, and we're not saying, give them to Dylan, he's for sure interviewing them. But if you think, hey, could you this might interest you, or this could be a good interview, pass it our way, whether it's on Discord or Patreon, we can look into it. And same thing, maybe we ask that person and they say, no, I remember randomly the fucking producer of the last 4 Saw films followed us on Twitter. And I took a shot, got ghosted, never got asked. But I said, hey, we love the Saw stuff. We cover all the time. We'd love to have you on. So that's all we can do is ask and stuff. So that's where, if you think there's sometimes a good fit, send it our way and we can try, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then anything, or for myself, I didn't know what to take from this. I was happy. Lots of people said they'd listen to a third one of Travis Told You, but then lots of people put they want guests on there. So I didn't know what to take from there as far as it's my solo show, but then like, yeah, but Travis, there's too much of you. We need you to bring on guests.
That's why you got me on there now.
Yeah, because Taylor's home, and I'd love to because I know
Yeah, I wonder
Dylan's
if that
schedule
comment was
changed.
before or after Taylor started hopping on there.
Yeah, Taylor and I, we had talked about because like, oh, he's gonna be home before, and I've always wanted to because like at one point I thought, oh, well, Kirkland's off a Friday and stuff. For me, it's always with Taylor. He's not working right now. It's always tough because my plan is always now Tuesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. But if people don't know, I do that during my lunch break at home. I got a clean hour, and if something happens at work, it's gone. So that's my only thing is I still want to do it, and maybe I will have Dylan on one day and have Kirkland. I actually will, not maybe, but it's kind of have the stars have to align because. And the same thing is like, does that just become like Weekly Geek, right? Like Taylor's hanging out with me because like he's off, and it's like, yeah, sure, another one. But it's like, that's where I go back and forth. It's like, well, when I'm on, I think it'd be different if I wasn't on Weekly Geek. But when I'm on Weekly Geek, that's like I don't know. I'm not gonna sit Kirkland down and be like, hey, let's talk about the Oscars for an hour because it's just like he doesn't care about the fucking Oscars. So that's why I try to like. Other than if a breaking news thing happened, I try to make it something that, okay, Travis would rant about this for 20 minutes and everyone would be bored. So that's where it'd be like a pick. But even with like Taylor, I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about Star Wars because I know Taylor can talk about half an hour for Stars. You know, where Thursday is Oscars noms. And I say, Taylor, you're not on the show because there's nothing for you to talk about. So that's where like, and I'd love to get like even like, I'd love to do an episode with Chris and stuff, but it's just because I do it during the daytime and that's when it happens. It's kind of tough, you know, so. I will see. People said evergreen topics, same thing. Send them in. I'll do them. I'll try to do a better job of thinking of them. I did blow through a lot in, I think it was like November. There wasn't much news. And then this was just like in somewhere else, but I put this in the Trash Told You. I just saw randomly someone did put Invincible. We're never doing that because Kirkland never caught up on it, so I apologize there. You can blame Kirkland for that one. And now someone did put Interview with the Vampire Show. I'm going to assume no one's watching season 3. So if that is the case, what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to do a retro for season 1, season 2. I just watched it, and I am going to do weekly reviews of Interview with the Vampire season 3 when it happens. So whoever put that comment in, who I think I know who it is, but whoever put it in, I plan to cover it there. I can't speak for all the other boys. If they feel inspired and see a trailer in the future, I'll happily welcome them aboard. But I don't think that's happening with all the stuff we got going on. Yeah. So
Not right now.
maybe one day. Okay, and now we're in the general content questions. We answered that one about the Patreon picks. Oh, I guess this ties into Travis Told You, and it was so funny because we saw one comment where it's like, hey, the spoiler section, it's too long. And then one section was, it's too short. And same thing, someone's like, oh, the Travis Told You intro, it's a little long. Can you just get the meat and the potatoes? For Travis Told You, it's kind of always going to be like that. I like for the first 10 minutes just interacting with the chat, with the patrons. I know S-Bubs, April, and Mike, they're usually my like usual people that are around in the daytime. Like, I like talking with them and being random stuff or talking about life or giving an insider. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but I like to start Trash Toilet Way of just like a fun vibe. We'll get into the news. And then for the reviews, I don't think we can really judge that because as you can see, like someone thinks they're too long and someone thinks they're too short. I think it's case by case. I think sometimes, go ahead.
I don't know if you've tried like now that there's pretty good like auto chapter things on like Spreaker and stuff. Have you tried that for Travis Told You? I wonder like how that generates. If it's
I have not. It's funny because we talked about the Spotify. Have you seen they do this by themselves now? If you pull up Spotify for our movie preview, it goes like 20 sections where it's like they talk about like July. They talk about Spider-Man, blah blah blah. So
yeah.
I have not played with the Spreaker one, so I could look into that and I could see that. So there's a potential for it, but I guess. I guess the other thing for me is just kind of, I don't know. I'm not trying to say this in a mean way, but all the podcasts I listen to that I don't subscribe on Patreon, like I just have the skip button and it takes me like a minute to get past stuff I don't want to hear. You know, like if there's a segment I don't like, I'm hitting skip minute 3 times and I'm past it. You know, like, and I don't go on for like 50 minutes. I'd say it's usually like 5 to 7, but I can look in that and see. But then, like, even for our general reviews, I could look into that, though. For the actual, I'm more fun with the actual, like, the reviews, whether they're games or movies, the spoiler section, because that I understand.
One thing I forgot to, it would have been an interesting question. Like, I wonder how people feel about the non-spoiler section on TV, like, TV show things. If they care to get a non-spoiler thing for, like, the first 10 minutes of every episode. I feel like we should kind of just get right into it. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, let me know. I'm curious if you... Like, if you're tuning in on a weekly review of a show, I feel like you're probably watching that show and have caught up on the episode, you know? Like, I feel like 95% of the people listening probably don't need a non-spoiler section, and then it
Yeah.
ends up just us kind of not saying much for the first like 10 minutes usually.
Yeah.
If anything, it would be like the first, like the pilot episode.
That's what I was
or,
gonna
like-
say. I
like
think the
opening.
pilot
Yeah,
keep it.
for the pilot.
Yeah.
And maybe the finale or something.
If it's something big,
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down. Like obviously, we'll wait to take us back. I'd be down for the occasional. Like I say, we stick with the pilot, have a non-spoiler because like we could recommend like, oh, do you like it or do we think it'd be good for you? And if it is something big in the finale, like when we had the Loki finale and Kang showed up, that's where it's like, okay, maybe give a warning of like, oh, there is something big here, quick. But I think I'd be down for all the midweek TV shows just to be spoiled. Because I think that's a good point, Dylan, that most people, if especially once they're episode 4 or 5, like they've seen it and they're there, right?
Yeah.
So, Taylor, what do you think about that? What are you going? We're talking about what if we, other than maybe the premiere and maybe the odd finale for TV shows, maybe cut the spoiler-free section? Because obviously movies, we get tons of people, even when we're live, like I see Dito all the time, like, oh, I'm going to see this movie in 2 weeks. I'm just hearing that. But for shows, probably the audience has already seen that, right, Taylor? So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in some shows too, like there's not a lot to cover at times. Like great example, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, Kirkland. Fuck, I don't know how much we could really cover just non-spoilers in for that show, right? Especially with like shorter episodes. Like what if we're doing, for example, Mandalorian season whatever? It's 25 minutes. Like you can do non-spoilers for this unless they throw in some jaw-dropping thing. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not worth it, really.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. I say keep the premiere, keep that as like a general we thought, and then the finale can be like maybe a case by case basis. I think we all know like a general. Okay, something big happens. We'll curtail it. I'll put this in here too because someone brought this up, and I want to not counterpoint it, but say reasoning, but then also go to you guys. So someone put in TV show reviews specifically for those. I feel like sometimes the weekly episodes can get a bit repetitive and done just to say that you reviewed every episode. For some shows it works better, for others it doesn't. A season review could be better and free up your time to do other stuff. So I agree, and I think this year or even last year we were starting to, and I think this year we will play with them again. Like obviously you're hearing us talk about it now. Like even with Gen V, we told the listeners, me and Taylor said like, hey, if it doesn't hit a certain thing, we will do just a season review. And luckily it did, right? I think the only issue I have with that is with the TV reviews, because I've seen it with Dexter and I saw with it where when the schedule gets messed up and we're a week late or a couple days late in our review, you can tell those episodes are lower. And that's the thing where, like with it, the premiere did really well. And then all those episodes, and two of those episodes were one we did like a week later or 5 days later because one was Extra Life and then one was, Halloween, right? They released it days early and it couldn't line up for us. And I think the show was a little slow, but I think that had to do with a little bit of us losing some viewership. And my only pushback is for people is Alien and even It, where I said like, hey, I think for season 2, I don't know if we would review this because the numbers weren't really there. But then the penultimate episode was the second biggest episode that month, and then the finale was the biggest. I get the finale, but that's my pushback for me as the content creator. I do understand that, and I think it's like a Russian roulette because you never know what you're getting with a TV show episode. But if we didn't review episode 7 of It, we would have lost out on money on that, where we just like, well, sure, maybe we would have got the same number for the finale, the whole thing, but episode 7 was very big, where all the other episodes were honestly like, it was the lowest series that we reviewed that year, but episode 7 and the finale were really big. Like I said, those were the two biggest episodes that month. So that's my pushback of same thing of like, if we did that for WandaVision back in the day, that episode where Evan Peters showed up, if we didn't review that, we would have missed, I know it's Marvel, but still, we would have missed tons of monetization that happened. That was one of the biggest episodes that year. So that's where, with TV shows, it's tough because you never know what's going to be that standout episode. Or like I wasn't on, but like Taylor, that episode you and Kirkland did about like the alien was the flashback, and it was pretty much like a short film of aliens, episode 5, and that's the biggest. It's in our top 10 this year. So the same thing of like, if we skip that's episode that got all this praise and talked about, we lose on that. So that's where I'm very 50-50 that I do agree that it can get repetitive. But if something big happens where we've decided, we were going to just review the season, we've missed out on potential new subscribers and monetization stuff. So what do you guys feel with that?
Go ahead, Kirk.
Yeah, it is so tricky. I completely agree with what you're saying. I was gonna say the same thing, like week to week. Like even Taylor and I doing Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. Like I was describing the show to Shay, and it's just like there's really not that much to talk about. And like Taylor and I did a whole episode review of it, but like I don't know if that's gonna be the same next week. Like maybe next week fucking dragons come in, and it's a whole different, like, you know what I mean? Like there's just, it really, really is week to week for certain shows. I think we could definitely. I feel like a lot of it is geared towards our overall vibe too, with like our hype on a show. Like obviously it comes into factor of play. It's like, are people really wanting to listen to this specific show review? We're already not super hyped on it. Like I think the most recent example of that would have been like Ironheart. No disrespect to the show, I still haven't seen it, but
Yeah,
you
which
know,
we didn't review, right?
We
Yeah,
did
we
schedule
skipped,
to
yeah.
review it, and then we're like, oh, we'll just talk about it all at the end.
Yeah.
I think you just talked about it. I don't know. Did you?
I did
talk
like
about it
15 minutes on Travis
Talk?
Told You. Yeah, but not even as like I'm reviewing Ironheart. It was just someone asked in
Yeah.
the comments. It's like, sure, But that's tough though, because like I can't remember me and Tim when we were looking at stats about the Alien. That's where it's like near the end we were pretty negative on that show, but that was still one of our biggest things, right? So it wasn't even the fact that we were not jiving with the show. It still pulled numbers for us. So
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It is interesting. It is tricky. Yeah, because I feel like it also, like, I can imagine it's not super interesting to listen to, but like even some episodes when it feels like, what is there to talk about
Yeah.
for this episode? Like you can feel it while you're recording it, so that doesn't really feel too great either. So I definitely want to avoid that. But in terms of like just bowing out of the show, like episode 2, oh yeah, no, we're just not gonna review it all. It, like who makes that? Like, how do we make that decision when we don't know what next week is gonna be? But it's
Yeah.
very, I think, case by case basis on what the show is.
I think it's funny going back to like the comments on evergreen stuff. Like definitely a series review. Like this is a season 1 review. It's the whole season. That's like way more evergreen of a thing. People like, I think in the future, really like the week to week stuff are the people who are listening week to week and want like that weekly discussion of it. But if you want to go back in time, you're probably not going to listen to every single, unless you're like super passionate about a show. Maybe you're like, oh, I want to hear everything. But it might even be frustrating to do that because you're listening to us on episode 2, theorizing what's going to happen in episode 3, even though you already know. And maybe that is fun, but I think for a lot of people, they just want like, oh, I just want like a 2-hour discussion on, I was going to say Ironheart, but I don't think anyone wants that. I want a 2-hour discussion on Alien Earth, the whole thing. I want the fun, one big discussion there. But like, for us to do that, we would probably do it right around the finale time. So then we'd have 2 episodes releasing around the same time that are kind of about the same thing, but one of them's like better in the long term, one's better in the short term. So it's tricky. And yeah, to Kirkland's point, it's like, if we know the future and we know how good every episode is going to be and how interesting they're going to be, then we could make our decisions so much better. But we're just going into it flying blind, and we've already like, oh yeah, I've planned Sunday night, I'm going to watch this and do a review. So it's like I haven't made plans for Sunday night to do other stuff, So it's that's a tricky one. But I guess the main thing is like for our numbers generally, and to keep the lights on, all that kind of stuff. The TV show weekly reviews, that's a nice boon. That's a nice thing to have in our pocket. So I don't think it's gonna go away.
And I think maybe when we're talking, like when Kirkland was saying, like, oh, sometimes you can feel an episode there's not much to talk about. Maybe that will help us when we do the spoilers. Now, like we cut the spoiler free out, right? And maybe it is just a bit shorter, and it is like, hey, we only got 25 minutes to talk about this episode, but it is just that. It's not just a stretch and thin, because then it's more quality, I think, for you guys listening. Because that's the thing too, like in that, if we do a whole series review, that might happen. But if there's people that like that show or even care about that show, if there's a podcast that's reviewing every episode, I feel like they're still going to go to them, right? Because like, well, I've been with them for the whole journey. So here you go versus, I don't know who these guys are, and they're just jumping in. And that's where it's tough, because we've even said that before too. Like when the shows, I'd have to look at old stats, and even like not so much the Netflix era, but of recent, I feel like when shows drop stuff in the binge, it doesn't have the same effect, even numbers for us, because people don't talk about it as much, right? It's there for a little bit and then it moves on. Where Alien Earth was that thing where like every week it was chugging. And like I said, I'm looking at it right now, 3 episodes in the top 20, and that's something where it's like if you skip out on those, they're gone. Like Andor, and I guess we'll have to see the next few years as well too, because I feel like with streaming shows, it's becoming sometimes even more popular than movies, because like people are at home, right? It's not everybody sees a movie where they go, where, hey, it's a click of a button. And I don't know. I guess I think it's something we have to watch, but I think I'm still fine though if there is stuff where we watch numbers and there's something midway where it's like, you know what, this isn't really worth it. Now again, there's a gamble of we might miss something big, but maybe sometimes we're gonna lose out and we just do something else, right? Like we find another way to do some sort of content or something. So, any thoughts, Taylor?
No, I agree. I think that you don't want to run the risk of missing out on those big episodes that are just like 1 out of 8 in a season, and I mean, you're gambling for sure. You don't know what's going to happen, but I think more often than not, a lot of shows these days tend to have that heavy hitter of an episode that you can kind of foresee or maybe plan with. But again, you can't really gauge for it. But I think what you can gauge and can guarantee is that usually a starter of a season and the finale is going to probably be your biggest episodes, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like, for example, if that show, I would not have watched it if it weren't for podcasts. But for the most part, like 95% of the shows that we review, I feel like we would probably be watching those shows weekly
Yes.
anyway. And we obviously do a podcast talking about this stuff. We like talking about this stuff. So I think it just, for the most part, it's literally just what we want to do anyway. We're watching it weekly. We want to talk about it weekly. So we derive pleasure from that.
Yeah, like Kirkland's Ironheart example, right? We weren't really that hot on it. And same thing like next week, like I have it on the docket, and me and Dylan, if we have enough time to watch it, the plan is to do like a Wonder Man review. But if life gets in the way and it doesn't work out for us, then it's not like we're not jumping off a cliff here. It's like, oh man, we're missing on Wonder Man. And maybe there's some great in there. I don't know, but it's like I want to. So, let's see. This is like on a twofer on the video. Someone asked, and I want to look into this. I mean, we only got a few more. One thing you could do is add a live stream link in the Discord if it's not too troublesome. I would like to see if I could link that up with, because I know there's a streaming tab. I've never looked into what that does. I never usually share episodes in there because I never want to feel like we're bombarding you with like, here's our survey, here's this, here's us live. Like I always still wanted to try to be that, but I'd like to see if I could try to link up with that streaming way, and if there is a way with StreamYard to get that where it's like, okay, you can see we go live, but then you could just ignore that if you don't want to watch right now or whatever it may be, right? So I don't know. And then someone did ask, for ad-free video recordings. I might try to add that because if people have noticed lately, I've been trying to keep up on it. I've been adding the videos to the Spotify feeds now. The only problem is I gotta wait for the episode to post. It's about like half an hour to 45, maybe an hour if it's slow, and then I can upload the video. I've been doing that. The biggest pain in the butt for me is I wish Patreon you could upload the video directly. You can't. It always has to be a link. So what I would have to do is, let's say like this. I'd have to have the town hall, and then I would have to upload the ad-free video unlisted on there. I know some people like D-Tall Matty, like every week if I forget the link, they hit me like, hey, where's the video link? Where's the video link? So if there's, maybe that's something I might do, like a mini survey in the future to ask like, hey, how much, because I usually add that. I didn't do that this year. Like, what do you listen on? If there's more people wanting the video ad-free, then I can try to look some time into it. It's just more of a pain. That's why it's not up there, is because if Patreon had a direct upload, I easily would, but it's just a pain that there has to be two versions of each video, right? Unless you have YouTube Premium or whatnot.
Yeah, if there's like a big ask for that, I think we can definitely do it. But at the time being, that's a lot of extra work for like,
yes.
It just can our time be spent elsewhere, I guess is the thing. But if there's a lot of other people that want that, please let us know.
Yeah,
right now, with only a couple people requesting it, it's like kind of hard to go all in on that.
Yeah. So yeah, anything we brought up tonight, whether it's direct message, Patreon, Discord, let us know. Someone brought this up. I'm not going to read the full thing, but they said, I'm scraping the barrel here, so I appreciate that. Said, maybe you should extend the MCU Golden Geeks to an action, adventure, sci-fi movie Golden Geeks. That's kind of
like a full circle moment.
Yeah, Golden Geeks kind of started as that, and then we all kind of every year got in debate of what was qualifying, what wasn't, so we just made every movie. So I don't think we would circle back to that, because I think we're going to wait and see. I think we've kind of had a general idea that we're doing the MCU Golden Geeks this year. I think we're going to wait till Secret Wars at least, but we might sunset the MCU Golden Geeks after that if they do slow down on projects, because we were put that in when they were doing like 12, 14 projects, but now they are starting to get a bit more limited.
And we can still keep it alive with like Phase 5, MCU Golden
yeah,
Geeks or
like an
something.
overall.
We can still keep it somewhere.
No, I actually think that's a good idea. So, but yeah, that's kind of it. So I don't know if we'll go back to that per se. Like maybe maybe there's a little just additions, like we've had like the horror category in there before and stuff. But I'll say a TBD. We'll see. But we'll stick to regular Golden Geeks. I think this kind of was in with the movie club thing of like more polls and opportunities for participate in streams, after 9 GVDA trivia, which Taylor, everyone loves those. So and yeah, maybe that's something too. Again, where I don't know if Taylor wants to do work, but maybe that's one of like Dylan's talking about those online events. Maybe Taylor does that trivia twice a year, and maybe there's one time where that Q1 we're gonna do another Taylor trivia and we make it a day and stuff. I don't know, Taylor. I know it's put more work on you, but maybe that's more stuff we can do that's online and it's also a streaming thing.
I love the idea of doing like stuff like that as more online. And yeah, the trivia would be a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. It really is, because the way I make it more difficult on myself, the way I just kind of build it, for like team by team, because I usually go by like question, and so forth. And then I'm trying to think, okay, how can I make sure like Gift of Foresight gets used in this way and stacks with other
To foresight that you got to
lifelines.
find a way to make that have to happen next year or
Yeah,
this year.
it's gonna make a comeback for sure.
Yeah, so it's definitely something possible. Again, like that's something that we're still planning on doing game night. Like at some point this year in the calendar year, I'd love to do another poker night because we only did that once, but the first one was really fun. I'd love to find out which console, like, do a lot of people own Mario? Like, I think we talked about Mario Kart, but the same thing is like, okay, who owns a Switch? Who owns that specific game?
I
right?
really want
So
to do Clock Tower. That will be really fun.
Clock Tower would be great. So, and that's always the tough things with that too is with After 9, the talking episodes, that's like, okay, we can either do it with just us and one person or a full panel, where sometimes the game, it's like, hey, we really have to plan an event of like, okay, sometimes that date's going to work for somebody, but not for anybody. Right. So it's a tough balance, but we'll try and figure that out.
We successfully did Avalon. I think it was for an After 9. I remember
We did? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool how you can incorporate like board games in that way. Actually.
The only After 9 Saris has ever been on. He was on that episode there. So,
Oh.
yeah. Fun fact for you. But yeah, no, I think there's stuff. And same thing, we can put it to a poll and find out what people are interested in. And then the last one I don't know if these guys have much to say on it, but I will speak to it because I don't know for a fact. I feel like it's more directed at me because I can sometimes get a little political. But the person put, and I'm not trying to take shots at all. So just walk with me for a second if this is a listener, because it is anonymous, so I don't know. I guess it is. But generally, you're pretty good. But I'm assuming, and then in quotations, because I am, most of your audience is American, which they are. That's our number one audience. Keep the political opinion open. I like hearing other culture views, but don't bash either side. So here's the thing. I guess on that point is I don't think I've ever bashed either side. And if I have, I can bash both sides. There was times when this podcast started that we were making Trump jokes. There's times where we made Joe Biden jokes. I think for me is like you can't find a clip of me specifically bashing one political side or another. You can find clips of me bashing a particular person or a group of people because most of the time those issues are not political. Those are human issues. So anything to do with fucking ICE or people being homophobic or transphobic or sexist or racist, to me there's political and then there's the human issues. Those are on a different sphere, and I'm talking for myself. And when I'll get on Trash Told You, and if you don't like that, then I'd recommend you don't listen. I've never done like a political show. It's just like something in the news might happen. I might have a comment on it. Those human issues on any of those phobias or fucking school shootings, I'm not going to worry about bashing a person because that's not political anymore. Those are way past that point. And for me, it's like I always want people to support this and have a good time. And if you can support us through Patreon, I very much appreciate that. But if any of those things I listed that you're like, oh, that's not really a big thing for me, for my show, personally, like with Trash Told You, I don't need you as a listener. Like if there's any of those type of things that you don't think are a big issue, to me, they are and can be. Those are things that affect other people. And I think we keep it pretty open here. And I think this is why I think I would have understood this comment more if someone said, hey, try not to be political at all. Because I understand that. I've said the two events in America, it was the 2016 election and here was COVID. Our North America is very political now. So I understand if you log on and let's say it's Trash Told You and you hear me make a joke or say something about somebody, you're like, oh, fuck, like more political stuff. Like I just want to escape it. That I get. But the bashing a certain side for me, I guess it's just, I don't bash any sides because I've said this before that I lean left, but I have political views that I agree with on the right. I don't like, oh, if someone was opposing my side on this view, I couldn't be friends with them. I'm not going to say anything, but I know for a fact there's two people on this panel that last election voted differently than me. And I'm like, well, I can't be your friend anymore because you were on that side. I'm like, you can't, So it's like, for me, though, all those issues I listed, that's what I know about these three, that if any of those guys were those type of things, I would not, either they would not be on the show or I would not be a part of Geek First. And that's the thing where there's different political opinions, but that is no longer political stuff. And my last point is just like, I don't think the show ever gets too political. We talk about here and there, but like the thing I like, most positive stuff was they still like that we keep that vibe that we're friends hanging out, friends in the basement, right? If you're asking me like, hey, I really wish you wouldn't say that thing about that political issue, for me, then you're asking to censor me. You're trying to get me not to be what I am, and we're not a critic, we're not a pundit. It is just a podcast of people hanging out and talking. Sure, we have critical views, but that's where it's like this would be my genuine self. So if there's some, and I obviously it's anonymous, so the person would never come forward. If there's something where you go, hey, you said this, and for this particular reason, I didn't agree with X, Y, and Z. I'm always open, as long as it's like an open book, non-offensive conversation. I'm always open to have that conversation. But if it's all that other stuff, that's not political to me. It's not. I'm not gonna censor myself if someone's trying to take gay marriage away. It's like, no, that's no longer in my opinion. It's not coming down to political stuff. So, and I don't even think we get that political on this cast. So I'd have to see the certain situation, but I'm not sure if you guys had anything to add to that. I just thought, okay, I was kind of curious about this comment because I don't think I've ever been like, if you're right, if you are a Republican, if you are on the right, I don't want you listening to this show because, I lean different ways, but I usually am more like left leaning. So I've never done that per se. So, but
Taylor's got thoughts. Go for it.
I was just gonna make a joke and say bread and butter, Kirkland, but no, I'm not gonna go there.
why you shouldn't listen to Travis Told You.
I'm really curious to hear more context on this comment, and maybe it is a Travis Told You thing because I listen to some but not all those episodes, so I don't know what you've been saying over there. But everything you just said, gets a thumb up from me. I agree with your kind of point of view on that stuff. So I would be curious to hear what this is because if we're talking about one battle after another or Captain America or something like there are political themes that will naturally come up in terms of like how we're critically reviewing a thing and talking about it. I feel like I very rarely share like political takes of any kind, at least in my opinion on the podcast at all. So I'm curious where this comment is coming from, but it's hard. It's so vague. Like I don't know what it's saying. Honestly, the comment, it's hard to know one way or the other what exactly it means. So I don't know. It's hard for me to dig too deep. If you have a specific example of like, hey, this was like a problematic thing you guys said, please send it our way and we'll review it. But I don't think that's happened. At least not when I've been in earshot of these hooligans here on my episode with me here.
Make a bot account and even send it so we know. Make an account on YouTube, send it because I'm always down for a conversation. I just hope it's not like when we're talking about Daredevil Born Again and clearly Fisk is making like it's a Trump allegory, right? And if we're talking about then we say anything in a negative light, it's like, well, you said something about that. It's like that's what the show is also portraying, right? Like that's thing we are covering like Mickey 17 last year, or I guess was that last year? Yes. No, 2 years ago now, right?
Oh. Come on, it better be in some of your Golden Geeks categories, Travis. You have to know what year it came out.
So last year it came out Daredevil. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and I get that, right? Because I think even we talked about with Cocktail Clay, he was one of those people. He said, "Oh, I'm kind of getting tired of that," and I share with him another thing of like I can't remember what I watched recently, but the whole like, oh, rich people are bad. I'm like, oh, I'm getting tired of this trope. So I understand that. If it was like, if you meant to say it more in general, like, hey, I just am really tired of politics and I don't really want much to speak, I get that. And I'll try not to always just make it too much, but it is tough when lots of things we're talking about are covering that. Even Brave New World, right? It's like Red Hot, like he's a president that might explode because of his policy. Like it's like they're trying like there's many things in the art form right now that are tackling that. So that's where it's kind of tough because we can't just, I feel like we'd be bad podcasters then if we don't talk about real life allegory stuff, whether they're correctly done or not. That's always in art, right? So,
yeah. I mean, if it was just like one of us saying that Trump's a piece of shit and you disagree with that, then like, well, we're gonna keep saying that. And we'll say it.
Again, I'm always gonna say that. And again, I didn't say like, and the entire like everyone that's red go it's just like people can say that about other people too. Like it's just like it's weird, but I think that's just it's just also the world we're in. I feel like everyone's very heightened. I was talking about this before where it's just like I watched a show from the aughts and they have a family that's left and right and the show's filled with jokes about each other and all the shot where nowadays it's like a joke about any political thing. It feels like, oh, you're going to get like a 15-page, like this is why it does damage to Canada or America. It's just like definitely political stuff is important. I'm not saying that, like go and vote and share your issues and stuff. But I think there's also people are very, this decade, because of some things justifiably, are very charged up about it, so. Kirkland, I know you've been waiting all night to get to this topic.
Nope. Not at all.
That's the last thing I had. Was there anything else, quotes, comments, anything that I didn't tackle on here that was worth bringing up?
Yeah, I guess again, it's so nice. Like obviously we're talking about like
Yeah.
mostly trying to highlight criticism type things because that's the it's too easy to do that. It's so easy to read even this beautiful survey of people saying really nice things and your eyes just like glue to like anything that's semi-negative, which there was not a lot of because that's just how the stupid human brain works, unfortunately. But oh my god, so many beautiful comments in here that made my day. So thank you all for writing in.
Yeah, that whole last section of the I'm not gonna read it, but the any overall thoughts about Geekverse, most of it was just love what you're doing, more of it. Like it was very kind heart. So we're very lucky to be, growing in some places, people still carrying stuff. So Taylor?
It might have glazed off. Maybe I was away. Did you mention the GPT aspect?
I did not. So
yeah,
you
good point.
wanted to bring that up.
I couldn't
So-
even figure out what your nickname was. I was like, what are you talking about? But I get it.
Travis couldn't either.
So, that's why I didn't include him. Like, I'm not talking about this. I'll find the specific quote here. Okay, so this was from somebody who says, I think the ChatGPT predictions sadly need to go. There were some funny moments at the beginning, but now it feels icky because of the use of AI. So, Taylor, obviously, big proponent. You brought it in. And obviously, it has led to some.
I'll throw him under the freaking bus.
He did. It's in his name. You brought it in, and it has created some good moments, but also because of real world implications, AI's a very mixed bag, I'd say right now, right? Of lots of people do use it, but
People
then there's
are
lots
scared.
of people. Yeah, no, people are scared, whether it's real life stuff, whether it's job stuff, and look at it that way. I think for me, I'm very 50-50 on it because I think they have. They've varied in quality to lower because I think the AIs are smarter, so they're not as funny. But then there's like when we did the Dexter one, we did Dexter joined Mission Impossible, and it was one of the funniest things of last
yeah.
year. So that's where it's just for me. I see both sides of it being lower quality and the AI thing, but I also don't think it's like when people are stealing work or photoshopping celebrities nude. Like I think it's a very minor stuff, and I also this was just one comment, so it wasn't like a bunch of people. But Taylor, you wanted to bring it up, so what were your thoughts on this? And then I can throw the other guys too. Obviously.
I think using it for everything, like every type of predictions, is like okay, probably not. We don't need to do that. But I think if the heavy hitters like DC, Star Wars, Marvel, stuff like that, I think okay, there's a lot of wiggle room for that. And yeah, like it's not copying, it's not like killing anyone's job or anything like that. And I don't see it necessarily as causing harm unless. I mean,
Well, it might be copying somewhere. It's definitely don't the ChatGPT and the AIs take from like an article there, article here, and then form its own like ideas or opinions.
well, yeah, it's sourcing like a character so it knows about Captain America and stuff. If I'm
Yeah.
writing like, give me a Brave New World 2 storyline or whatever. But I think that there is a lot more play to be had with it in a fun sense. But I don't think we need to hit it with every single predictions episode. I think there's lots of stuff in there that we can just kind of like, okay, we don't need to do it. But I think if we create certain scenarios too that are fun, like didn't we do a Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings crossover?
We did. That was like a Patreon bread and butter.
Yeah,
one time,
and
which
that got
was
pretty
fun.
sweet. That was awesome. And then what was the other one we did? Because we had it like, didn't we have us as like a movie, write a movie with a podcast? Us, and
Yeah,
then,
it was just
Dylan
like
was the
Geek
villain,
versus the movie. Yeah, just Geek versus the movie, and it gave us this trilogy and stuff. Yeah.
which I think I got to do a sequel to that because it got pretty juicy. But yeah, no, there's just so many zany different outcomes that it can be whipping out, and I think that creates positive discussion and laughs and whatnot. And but like I said, not all of them are hitters, and there's definitely some stuff that it struck fucking hell strikes and strucks out.
It struck out. Yeah.
Struck out. God damn. So
Which I can get because there's been times where that happens and it's like, oh, that wasn't worth it. And then we just had you ramble on for 10, 15 minutes, which I'm sure people still like the sound of your voice. But when we talk about
they're
time
not
is
all
essential.
Luke's fleet, you know.
No. And that's tough where we started because I feel like Lord of the Rings, the GV1, Luke's Fleet, those were those first early ones and they were all bangers.
I almost forgot about Luke's fleet.
Luke's
Fuck.
Fleet. Yeah. But yeah, so and this is one where I feel like if people had an issue, obviously it wouldn't be anonymous, but like if more people feel like this, I definitely like you can speak up. Like I'm not going to be
Please
offended.
do, yeah.
I can
I'm
understand if
curious
someone
to
on the
know.
political ones like I don't want to step on their toes, they might think differently. I get that. I'm not going to be mad if you're like, hey, kill this segment of doing that, right? Like it's just like a chat GPT.
Let us know if you want a specific ChatGPT segment. If you want me to put in that prompt, I'll put it in.
We know
for
where
you.
Taylor is. Yeah.
Yeah.
What political things does Geek First feel about? But
Yeah, I'm not married to it. If a lot of people feel it's icky, then consider it dead. At least on the stuff I have control over.
Kirkland, any thoughts?
I'm more in favor of it, but yeah, I can. There's definitely some that are hitters over others, so I can
Yeah.
definitely understand. I feel like I've been in the middle of Taylor just going on long like reading of a paragraph, and I'm like, I don't even know where we are anymore. Like we're
That
just
has
deep
definitely
in the
happened.
weeds here.
Oh, it
Yes,
happens.
that's definitely happened. Yeah. And then to circle back, Kirkland, on the political stuff.
That's after
Who'd
this
you vote for
episode.
last time?
Yeah, give me your full history. Yeah. Anything else? Taylor, you brought that. Was there anything else that struck your eye, Taylor, in there?
Ooh, it struck my. Let me do a quick scroll here just to make sure my eyes are struck.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't answer. I see the poll. I got at least 66% on people wanting a third Trash Told You. I'm gonna tinker with that. I might make that maybe a Patreon exclusive one, because that might be some more evergreen stuff. Because I might try and do maybe like once a month somewhere. I did that this month with my movie rankings, and I'm still kind of plugging with the 2-day system one. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen when things change, when everything goes back to work and stuff. So that's all I have to say on that.
Nothing else from me, I don't think.
Nothing.
I guess I mean, going back to the gaming retro or indie game stuff, like if you want specific things, let me know. If you want a specific game or retro thing, put it in front of my face, and then I promise you I'll write it down, and then it will probably get done at some point. So yeah.
Yeah, that, and I know someone else put in there. So if people are wondering, I think because they've been out, people got that answer. But in case not, the drafts do some stakes this year. So obviously, movie draft and a video game draft will happen. It'll be next year because the winners, but there'll be some other random retro drafts and stuff. And there was another. Oh, the other one too. I couldn't remember, Dylan. This is not off topic, but still on. Did we ever end up doing? I thought at one point we talked about doing the horror movie fighters, like in a roster.
That is, I do have that written down.
Okay,
so.
because I had.
And the last like 2 Halloweens, they've just been like
Yeah.
busy months, and so that
There's a
hasn't
couple
happened, but
comments
it's on my
about that
list,
of like doing more of those, which those are fun. I know at one point, Dylan, you want to do the Smash one, that one. So
Yeah.
like same thing for that. If you have like obviously it has to be something in our sphere, right? So don't be like, oh, the Gossip Girl fighting game. Like no, like something that we know and love, or even if it's combined, like if it was just a TV show character, like just like overall, like those are always fun making the roster, having a specific list, the unlockable. So if you have any more ideas on those ones, those are one of my favorite gaming casts to do, is the fighting roster blank, squad. So
definitely.
Taylor, you
You
scanned?
the
You
Gossip
done
Girl one,
scanning?
Travis?
No, I've never seen it.
Really? I feel like we've talked about Gossip Girl in the past.
I've seen some of it. Emily watched it, but I've never
Okay,
watched it
there
start
you
to
go.
finish. Yeah. Kirkland,
Yeah.
you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Taylor, you scanned? Was there anything? You're smiling, so I don't like the.
I'm smiling. I just want to circle back. I'm kidding.
I put in that comment. Travis, you had an issue.
No, I can't remember if you guys mentioned it, but it would be cool to figure out a way to do like some more behind the scenes kind of stuff, just to kind of show some of the chaos.
Taylor's
whatnot.
pitch, it was so great. His pitch was like, we should do the behind the scenes of this, and this, and it was stuff of like, we haven't done that in 6 years. Like he's like, oh, when we're all together in a cast and we're in person, it's like that happens twice
I don't
a
even
year,
think
and
we
we're
all
usually pretty
together.
busy.
He was pitching all of us like in a car going somewhere.
His
And I'm
car,
like, I
he
don't think
loves
we've
the
done
cars.
this. Yeah.
He misses the vlogs and stuff we used to do back in the day. But yeah, I would.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. If there's stuff you want us to know, because I feel like we do behind the scenes stuff when we do like in audio, like originals or bread and butter. Where sometimes we talk about this stuff. But like I always said last year, I'm like, oh, I'll give you guys updates on the movies. I always forgot. My goal is like once a month, I'm gonna post like a couple paragraphs, an image of what I'm working on. But if you guys have anything specifically you would like to know, and I also saw someone said like a Q&A session like for patrons, which is like, I guess, but like we ask for questions like every day. I guess that's always the tough thing of like newscasts, anything like where it's. I don't know what that would be, because we're always like, hey, send us a question about this topic, send us a question about this game or movie. So
Yeah,
if there's anything, let us know.
Yeah, I guess I'll put that out there for side quests. Like the few times where I've asked for questions or people want to hear things, I don't really get a lot of feedback. Like I don't really hear much from people. So if you guys do want that more, and it just so happened the weeks I have asked for that, you just haven't had a thing, let me know. I can start, posting on my Patreon. Hey, any question or thing you want discussed on side quest this week, I can do more of that. I just, like I said, in the past when I have done it, I haven't really got many bites on that. So let me know.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Like some of the evergreen stuff, that's where it comes down to that or more fan interaction. That comes down to you guys, right? And even like for side quests, for Trash Told You, other stuff, you can ask random stuff. If Dylan posts like, "Hey, I'm talking about this," even if it's something that maybe he won't tackle on that review, maybe the next cast where it is just like a news or a ranking or stuff. It's like, or in the what we've been playing section, I'm sure to be like, "Oh, we'll talk about this question here," right? Like that's what I did. I said again with Mike's question. I said, "Oh, that'd be too long, but I'm going to talk about this next week." So even if you feel it's not on topic, like drop it in there, and if we have something valuable to add, obviously if it's something we've never seen or played, it might be, oh, I can't help you, but whatever you thought, like we're an open door, or the restaurant's always open, it's online, so the same thing, the Patreon's there, it's never closed. Drop, and there's the DMs as well too. If there's something you're not sure you want to ask, like hit us up and one of us will answer you. Like it's all there. We try to be as open as possible. So
Beautiful.
Taylor, did you have any
Well said.
behind the scenes thing you want to do other than your car? We got to get in a car apparently.
I don't know. I mean, I think the only behind the scenes things I can think of are just when we are together for 24 hours. I think, okay, there's stuff here. Like if the guys are going out to go do a food run, put the camera out. You know, record what goes down.
Yeah,
It
my
could be super
15-minute break on a 24-hour live stream. I
That's-
can't wait to make more content
I
and
think
be
that's
on.
where, yeah. I think that's where it comes down to, because I think it was
How
different.
much
when we-
energy it takes to be on for 24
Yes.
hours straight.
I think back in the day when we would do that, it would be like either E3, Comic Con, or Gauntlet
It's
recordings.
just me
that-
stuffing my face and looking like
Yeah.
a fool as I'm throwing sushi down the pipe.
those 15 minutes where I'm outside and then getting some food, that is like, okay, I'm gonna take a little break there. So like, I understand the idea, Taylor, but it's like, and it's all we've talked about it before, but it's same thing. If there's something that we're not thinking of, throw it out there. So
Well, when the movies that are coming down the pipeline, look forward to that. If you want behind the scenes, there's lots of behind the scenes that'll be coming.
yes, for patrons, as I've
for
said before,
patrons, yeah.
the plan is the movies will release publicly by themselves, likely just on YouTube, but then everything, commentary tracks, bloopers, behind the scenes, that will be on the extended ones. If you already brought Adrenochrome, it's like a voucher. You'll get that copy. Don't worry, you don't have to rebuy it, but that's how it will go in the future. So, and those those will Adrenochrome release this fall, and then For Love should release this fall as well for a preview Patreon weekend. It depends, because as I'm editing it, there was one scene that might need some snow. So if we can't shoot in the next 2 months, it might be early next year, because I need some snow. Because I saw some scene, I'm like, it went from snow to no snow, and it was not looking good. So I want to reshoot something. So that's the only update on those. I'm just editing away. That's why there's not much updates, because we're not filming right now until what is it? Like February, and then it's just me at a computer. Like this scene goes here, this audio goes there. So that's why I don't know juice, but when there's juice, you'll get it. Anything else? I think that's pretty good. So I think we answered it all. If there's anything we didn't answer or something we said that you want more clarification on, again, you got all the links, social media, Discord, Patreon, let us know. But until then, we'll be doing, this will be shelved until next year. And then, we got a bunch of content this year. Like we said, most we've ever for Patreon. So please stay subscribed or up your tiers. There's going to be lots of great episodes. We're going to do After Nines. Like we said, we talked about game nights. Lots of good just content on the feed. And you're getting stuff almost every Monday to Friday. You got side quests, you got Trash Told You, Weekly Geek. There's usually a main episode, a TV review. So there's, I think your gullet should be full. But obviously, if there's something we can do, let us know. It's been our pleasure to serve you. Here's the 2026. Won't be boring.
Bye-bye.